Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Hello and welcome to another podcast, the best bits of the Atom Radio Drive Time, which is on Monday to Friday on Atom Radio with me between 4 and 7. If you've never had a listen, try and give it a go if you can. Coming up in the podcast this week, a man makes a balls up with his e-cigarettes. Have you ever been overdressed for a photo shoot? Pensioners and road rage, learner drivers and evil thoughts, the wrong John Lewis strikes back, and who's going to be number one at Christmas? Settle back, enjoy.
Atom Radio, ooh yeah, playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Anyway, worse than that, a man has been left in agony. Now, those people that think e-cigarettes are cool should listen to this. A man has been left in agony after his e-cigarette burnt through his pocket and said that the explosion almost blew his bits off. Dad of 3, Darren Wilson, needed skin grafts to his crotch after the device burst into flames and leaked battery acid all over his privates. That wouldn't have happened with a pack of 20, would it? The 37-year-old is in so much pain he currently takes morphine just to go to the toilet or to wash himself. See, you know, smoking kills apparently, but then so can e-cigarettes too. Brain teaser on the way for you after Sigrid and Sucker Punch on Monday's Drive Time.
Meet me in the hallway.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
ABBA, Take a Chance on Me, 5:27 Monday afternoon on atomradio.co.uk, or, of course, Monday evening, because it is dark here in the UK. It's been dark about an hour now. Miserable. Going to be possible sleep tomorrow as well. You're not looking forward to that. Last week I had an issue getting a nice bum, okay, which was a bit of an issue because Greggs have apparently rested them, as they like to say, up until after Christmas, which is a pain if you like ice buttons. Well, my Nike Air Max 95, I have a white pair and I have a black and white pair. My black and white pair, the air bubble has gone. All right, now I can't complain. I bought them in 2005, so I can't complain. They've lasted very long, but I can't replace them. And Nike have this design your own thing, which is all good. I thought, well, that's fine. I'll design my own. No. You cannot design your own. You can only select from certain options. You can't actually design your own. What a pain that is. Brain teaser question for today. Why? Bye, baby, bye. No. Your brain teaser question, by what name is singer Pauline Matthews better known? If you know, Facebook, tweet or email in your answer and you could be on our Monday Roll of Honour. This is new music from Razorlight on Atom Radio. To the headlines we go with Carry Yourself.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Waterboys, Glastonbury song, John Cougar Mellencamp, Jack and Diane on atomradio.co.uk. Hello, you got Mark with you on Monday's Drive Time, 20 to 6 o'clock. Some pictures have emerged of Prince Charles with his youngest grandchild. Okay, that's not unusual, you know. Old people do have grandchildren, and everyone's saying how lovely they look, right? And they do, to be fair, you know, like Prince Charles, you know, you can see the love in his eyes, the admiration for the little one. The little one is so content, and it's all really, really nice. But the only thing I thought was, does the average granddad put a suit on to have a photo shoot with their grandchild? I was just, you know, I mean, I'm not a great lover of suits, and I don't see the point to ties. I think they're an outdated tradition now. But if you're, you know, a granddad or whatever, or maybe even a father, and you're having a little photo shoot with your son, or a granddad with your grandchild, would you think, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to put a suit on just so I look good for this. Or would you just think, you know what? Be natural, be casual.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Susie and the Banshees, Dear Prudence, Rita Ora, Let You Love Me. It's Atom Radio's Tuesday Drive Time. And this is Mark with you live from Slough. Cheers for sticking us on. You have the greatest Drive Time show on the greatest internet radio, in my opinion. Logan Paul, who is some form of YouTuber, and he is the latest person to come out as a flat earther. He has 18 million YouTube followers. He climbed onto a state at a Flat Earth conference in Denver saying he was coming out of the Flat Earth closet. Funny enough, he's done this stood on a hill, so that's not flat. Who knows whether it's a publicity stunt or not? He's joined a motley band of celebrities, including MTV star Tila Tequila and rapper B.O.B., who've publicly said the Earth might be flat. Can I just say, anybody that has flown in Concorde used to go up 60,000 feet above the Earth, all right? From that height, you could see the curvature of the Earth. Ask any of the Concorde pilots, ask any of the passengers on Concorde, whoever looked out of a window, you can see the curvature of the Earth. Therefore, it's surely proven that those from the Flat Earth Society are wrong, because how could you see the curvature of something that's flat if it was flat? It doesn't make sense. Logan Paul, Tila Tequila, B.O.B., sorry, you're wrong. This is Justin Bieber and Break From Love.
You call.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Panic at the Disco, High Hopes. It's Tuesday on atomradio.co.uk. Coming up 4:45, you got Mark with you on Drive Time until 7. So if we are expecting this mini ice age, does this mean that I'm going to have to buy my first pair of wellies since I was a child? I was talking to my friend at the weekend and we were talking about wellies, and I have not owned a pair since I was a child. I know certainly my mum bought me my last pair of wellies, and I was probably at junior school by then. Not really bothered with them ever since. But does this mean I'm going to have to buy a pair? Because I tell you what happened last year. I was out walking last year and we had some snow in the UK, and it was a little deeper than I thought it was. And I wear my trainers quite loose, never do them up tight. So I've stepped off the curb into what I thought was a little bit of snow. It's actually far more than that. And what's happened is all the snow has then come over and gone into my shoe, which has soaked my shoe, soaked my sock, and I had to spend the whole day with a freezing cold foot. I didn't like it. So I may have to, if we are going to have this mini ice age next year or the year after, may have to invest in a pair of wellies. Shocking stuff.
I play the street light.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
A hit and run has happened in Wiltshire, in Devizes, a hit and run. However, it doesn't involve a car, doesn't involve a bicycle. Police are hunting for an elderly man on a mobility scooter involved in a hit and run that left a woman in hospital. See, old people aren't always sweet, are they? The elderly man ran over the woman in her 50s as she was walking on the pavement. She was knocked to the ground and the man was thrown from his mobility scooter. However, after being helped back onto his scooter by other members of the public, he merely drove off. Good old man. The woman was taken to hospital and suffered 3 broken bones as a result of the incident. Wiltshire police have today appealed to the public to help identify the elderly man. Well, that's not nice, is it? That's honestly not nice. Like these people on their mobility scooters can be a bit of a nuisance, can't they? Brain teaser after Ava Max, Sweet But Psycho.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio with Ava Max, Sweet But Psycho on the big drive home. 19 after 5. I'll play that for my friend Lauren. She likes that song, so yeah, it's all yours, Lauren. You can have it on me today. Brain teaser is just around the corner. You know, last week we told you about this man in America who every year gets the brunt of the John Lewis Christmas advert. Now, the UK retail store John Lewis does have a Twitter, but a man in Virginia has the name @JohnLewis on Twitter, surprisingly, because it's his own name. And you got to love his Twitter bio here. Computer science educator, father of 4, social liberal, atheist, and not a retail store. Good shout, John. Good shout. So every year, John gets a barrage of tweets from people all about the retail store and their Christmas advert. Happens every November and December. Finally, the man has his own Christmas advert, courtesy of Twitter. If you go to @TwitterUK, introducing the 2018 Twitter UK Christmas film, I will retweet it for you, starring the unmistakable @John Lewis, with the caption, #not a retail store. That is what John replies with a lot of his tweets. When people tweet him, they'll say blah, 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 and he replies blah, 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 but you might have been referring to the retail store. But perhaps you were referring to the retail store. See? So therefore, John now has this #not a retail store tweet advert, thanks to Twitter UK. Well done, Twitter UK. I'm going to retweet that so you can have a look.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk. UK.
Speaking of Christmas, as we were earlier with the John Lewis advert, it may be a little early. Festive season, however, is already in full swing, meaning shops are getting super creative with their visual merchandising and Christmas decor. One store, though, in particular, is Tynewold Mills. It's located on the Isle of Man. Looks really, really good. The department store ensured that visitors would remember this visit with a distinctive Christmas display. They have two polar bears that are definitely getting together. All right, so these two polar bears, they're not real ones, by the way, before anyone says anything. They're not real ones. These two polar bears in front of Tynewold Mills on the Isle of Man. There are loads and loads of baby polar bears there as well. And I think you can imagine that the two adult polar bears are quite clearly getting jiggy with it, just explaining where all these little ones came from. Well done, Tynewold Mills. It's 2018, after all. Can't forget that.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio plays Genesis. Turn it on again. Hayley Steinfeld before that. And Back to Life. You got Mark with you up until 7 tonight, which is basically 5 minutes away. I've got a question for you. All right, I've got a question for you. Things that annoy you. For example, if you go shopping, right? Like I went shopping and I wanted a pair of trainers. So I asked for a size 10. This is the size that I've always been as an adult. And they come back, I'm sorry, we've got a 9 or an 11. Which would you like? Neither, because I'm a 10. That kind of makes sense to me. Now, if they'd come back and they said, like, well, we haven't got the white, but we've got the black in a size 10. That's a decision that I could possibly make, because it's then, do I like the black, or would I rather go somewhere else and get the white, or wait for them to get the white? But if you basically say to me, I haven't got the trainers you want in the size you want, but I've got some that are too small that you wouldn't be able to wear, and some that are too big you wouldn't be able to wear. It's not really a decision, is it? To be fair, it's just not a decision. I never understand that. Like the same with clothes. Have you got that in a extra large? Well, you've got a medium. Well, it's not going to fit, is it? It's not going to fit.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Games without frontiers, war without tears.
Atom Radio plays Peter Gabriel, Games Without Frontiers, Sigala and Ella Air. Just got paid. You got Mark with you on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and on your smart speaker as well. A new story broke yesterday about Black Friday, which is coming this Friday, although to be fair, virtually every retailer has already started it anyway, saying that almost 9 out of 10 Black Friday deals can be had at better value elsewhere in the year. So I've always said, haven't I, that Black Friday is a time of year where retailers bank on you buying stuff you don't want nor need just because it's on sale. Whereas, now this research shows that almost 9 out of 10 deals could be better than another time of the year. Amazon are in the firing line for that, as well as now being accused of ruining Christmas. They've sent gifts out without packaging to hide what's inside. They've been arriving ahead of the big day next month with nothing but a delivery sticker on the original box. The move, which was rolled out in Europe earlier this year, aims to reduce the amount of cardboard used with frustration-free packaging, Amazon call it. However, the scheme is causing frustration rather than, one mum is now saying that her child no longer believes in Santa. She posted on Twitter, "Gee, thanks, Amazon. My daughter has seen her Christmas present and has told me she knew Santa wasn't real all along. Why not disguise the packaging, especially at this time of year?" Well, they're trying to do the environmentally friendly thing, I suppose, aren't they, by just sending out the original box. But, I suppose at Christmas, if you are still trying to, if you're trying to buy presents to go along with Santa's presents, because let's be honest, Santa's real. We all know that, all right? Sometimes mum and dad get extra presents to go along with Santa's presents, But it doesn't mean he's not real. See, Santa may still bring something else other than what you've already seen from your mum and dad. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Amazon could make a little effort to disguise it. Perhaps we'll now see Amazon gift wrap available as well.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio plays Sucker Punch from Sigrid. It's Thursday's Drive Time, and this is Mark with you up until 7 o'clock tonight. Christmas number one is a big deal. I don't really know why, but it is still a big deal here in the UK, certainly. And, it's a closely fought thing. Usually X Factor wins it. I mean, they usually get the Christmas number one, don't they? The X Factor single is quite often Christmas number one. This year, that could be scuppered. And it's all thanks to Chris Moyles on Radio X, who some of you, in fact, may have heard of. All right, everyone's heard of him. But anyway, Chris Moyles has had this thing going on his Radio X show, asking everyone to buy Nick Knowles' single for 99p on iTunes. And in the space of one show yesterday morning, it got from outside the top 200 to the number one spot. Now, the Vodafone chart that you hear on radio, the Vodafone Big Top 40, I think they call it, is basically the iTunes chart. So if Nick Knowles stays at number one, he will actually be on the radio across the UK on the Vodafone Big Top 40. iTunes, I think, is a fraction of the official UK Top 40, but the Vodafone one is just basically the iTunes chart. So yeah, Nick Knowles' single number one in the iTunes chart as of yesterday. Shall we have a little look? Hang on, we'll have a little look, and we'll see whether we can find it or not today. I don't want that. No, you see, I've just Googled iTunes. I want iTunes chart UK. Let's have a little look. Here we are. iTunes chart UK. Is it still there? Is it still there? Songs. We want songs, don't we? Anyway, yeah, if you'd like to buy this, then you can. I don't think I found the latest chart, if I'm entirely honest. This is not the latest chart at all. I'll have to have a look into this, I think, more closely to see if I can find it. But yeah, Nick Knowles for Christmas number one. The only thing I would say, 21st of November, probably peaked a little early if it's going to be Christmas number one. By peaking this early in November, I'd say it's not got a great chance now.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio, online 24 hours a day, playing the music you want to hear. 7 after 4. Hello, welcome to Friday's Drive Time on atomradio.co.uk. Tune in iTunes Radio and your smart speaker. I've got to tell you, something really, really annoying happened to me earlier today. You know, when you're driving and you're behind a learner driver, all right, now this isn't a dig at learner drivers because we all were learner drivers at one stage. But I was behind, not one, not two, but three learner drivers. And the first one, we were in a 40 mile an hour limit, okay? The first one was doing probably about 22, 23. It was just above 20 on my speedo. And the second one, obviously being a learner, wouldn't overtake. The third one, being a learner, wouldn't overtake. And because there was three of them, I thought, well, I can't overtake them either. And how annoying is that? You're driving along in a 40 mile an hour zone doing about 22, 23 miles an hour because three learners are all plodding along at that speed in front of you. Now, I know the speed limit is a limit and not a target, but it's just so frustrating. And really, it's down to the instructor, because if the driver of the front learner car, which was the one doing 22 or 23 or whatever it was, is only capable of doing that speed, then they shouldn't be out during busy times on a 40 mile an hour road, should they? Really? Anyway, if it was you, if it was you, get your foot down next time, or stick to roads that you can handle.
I just wanna go back.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
The Sochi gold medal winner, Ryan Fry, offers to pay for the damage, and the team he was playing for is banned from future events after extremely drunk curlers got kicked out of a tournament. Do you know what? Like, you don't really imagine, do you? Like, you can imagine a Sunday league football team getting all, like, you know, drunk and turning up to their game. You can imagine maybe it does happen, I suppose, in darts, which could be quite dangerous, really, couldn't it, considering you're throwing arrows around. But you don't really imagine this, do you? Ryan Fry, who won the gold at the Sochi Winter Olympics of 2014, was part of a team ejected from the Red Deer Curling Classic for what the World Tour called unsportsmanlike behaviour. After receiving numerous complaints from opponents and spectators, the tournament committee at the curling centre was compelled to intervene. The Canadian and his teammates were all forced to forfeit their final match because they got drunk. Wow, you don't really expect that, do you? Next, we'll have pissed up pensioners on the lawn bowls green. It's going to be crazy if that happens, isn't it? This is Madness, Our House on Atom Radio.
Father wears his Sunday best.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio plays Back-A-Mat Party Starter for the girl who advertised her house party on Facebook and trashed her parents' house. I've had an evil thought. It's 13 to 6, by the way. The brain teaser answer coming in a moment. But I have had an evil thought. Imagine what you could do if you were really, really evil. And please don't do this. It's just an evil thought that's come in my head. Is you could advertise a house party on Facebook and give the address of someone you don't like. That'd be really, really evil, wouldn't it? Because then all of that chaos would descend on their house instead. But I'm not suggesting you do that. It's just a really evil thought. But then, now wait, someone's going to do it at my house, aren't they? Although, to be fair, if they did do it at my house, I'd probably notice everyone arriving. Last chance on the brain teaser. Here's the Four Seasons.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Thank you for lending me your ears. If you lend me your ears on Monday at 4, we'll kick off another week of Drive Time on Atom Radio with the music you want to hear and loads more goodness like that as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or your week whenever you're listening. I'll catch you back on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Ooh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.